right, we are back with another episode of It's That Easy. And this time we're talking championship week college basketball. We are at the end of the week. It's Saturday morning right now. I'm just putting something out before the games start today. But I wanted to go through the week and just talk about all the picks that I done this week. There was so many games, so many good games. So I figured share that with you before we get to next week where we go to the big dance. So if you're watching, please like. I would greatly appreciate it if you like the show. That just helps the algorithm say, hey, keep putting it out there for people. And if you want to subscribe, man, that would be awesome too. I'll say this. I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you spend any time, any part of your day watching this show, watching me talk about college basketball, I am so grateful. I'm so thankful for that because this is just something I like to do. It's just fun to do for me. And if anybody spends their time watching, man, my hat's off to you. I appreciate it. I thank you so much. So let's get into these games. So I looked at the four conferences. I missed out on the Big Ten, but I did look at the ACC, the Big East, the Big 12, and the SEC. Right. So I was looking at these games. And so what I'm going to show you here is what I put out on TikTok every day to put out some picks. Since I wasn't doing a show every day, I said, well, I'm going to put out some picks anyway. So started on Wednesday, March the 11th. So it was, man, there was so many games going on, right? That's the beginning of the tournament. Everybody starts getting eliminated. Started with the ACC. Man, I liked NC State. I've seen them during the year. I liked them. They actually came through for me. SMU, I think they lost by 20 points or something like that. So really bad pick. I thought they would show up, but you know what? It happens. Wake Forest got beat pretty good. You know what? SMU didn't lose by 20. Sorry. They lost by they only lost by 4. My bad. Lost by 4. But still, I thought they'd do better than that. Did that really happen? Oh, well, if that's the case, then I did win that one because I did have them plus. Anyway, and Florida State, shocker, but they won their game, but I picked them, so that was good there. When we go on to the Big 12, man, my Longhorns, they let me down. Yeah, that was a bad pick. Ole Miss, I don't think they played Ole Miss before, but I thought they could beat Ole Miss. But they're both middle of the pack. Yeah, that didn't work out. And of all things, OU, I thought they would win, and sure enough, they took care of business. Mississippi State did not show up. They couldn't even cover 7.5 points, so that was not good. And I did pick Kentucky. Kentucky did win, but I think they won by 4. So it wasn't that I didn't get a good pick. It's just that I didn't pick the right points. So those guys moved on there. This was a hard one to pick because I watched these games throughout the season, but I didn't watch them as much, as the bigger teams. But I thought Butler would actually win the game. They didn't. They lost. Marquette played. I'm not sure why I thought they'd win. I mean, I do my homework. I do the numbers. I check the stats, try to see who's better there. Marquette ended up losing after being favored by 5.5. But Georgetown came through. Georgetown, I remember when I first started watching college basketball, you're talking like 83, 84, 85. Georgetown was a dog. So I said, you know what? Let's give them a shot. Sure enough, they won for me. And then the Big 12. I picked Arizona State. I just thought they would cover against Iowa State. I thought Iowa State was struggling. Yeah, that wasn't. They lost by almost 50 points. I had them plus 11.5. If it was plus 51.5, I might have won. That was bad. Cincinnati, I thought would do better because I thought they played good and they ended up losing. But BYU came through. BYU showed up, and then TCU. I picked a money line. They actually won their game. So I was like, okay, I'll take that 2 for 2. That was good. So then we move on to Thursday's games, right? All these guys. That's what I love about this one. You win, you play the next day. You win, you play the next day. So Thursday's picks started at the ACC, and I liked Virginia. So this was teams that had a one-day bye. So Virginia played NC State, but I thought, you know what? Virginia's better than these guys. They won by 7. I had them 5.5. They won by 7. One of the shockers was the Miami game. Let's see. Miami was playing Louisville. Louisville's ranked, but I think I'd seen them beat them before in the season. So I had them 1.5. They actually won the game, so that was good. Duke let me down a little bit. They did. It's not that they didn't win. It's just they didn't win by 18.5 points. They actually won by 1 point. So they probably should have lost the game against Florida State. That was the shocker right there. Florida State says, you know what? We got 18 wins. We don't care. We're going to give you a run for the money. And they did. Duke had to win it at the end. And then Clemson I liked. And I said, they were playing North Carolina. So here's the crazy part. I had Clemson +3. That was the day before. The next day, it was actually Clemson +1. But I had already locked them in at +3, thank goodness. They actually won by 1 point. North Carolina hit a shot at the end to cut it from 4 to 1 or 2 to 1, 3 to 1. And so I'll take that one. So yeah, it was kind of crazy because see, if you get in early on some of the bets, you can get a different line. So when you see one come out and you see the number, it probably gets smaller. So let's say you see a team that's down by, let's say they're +12, they're underdogs by 12.5 points, and you like that number, take it, because by the next day it could be 11, 10, 9, and what's sad is that 1 or 2 points can make a difference on you winning the game. So, but yeah, I got Clemson. That was a pretty good pick for me. See, I was getting better. Look at that. 3 out of 4 that day. Pretty good. Then going to the SEC, I liked Kentucky. Kentucky won. Tennessee at the time. Tennessee's a good team. They beat Auburn by 10, so that was a really good game there. I picked Georgia to beat Ole Miss because I thought, okay, Ole Miss, they won. They beat the Longhorns, but they can't beat Georgia. Yeah, I was wrong about that. Ole Miss won. They took care of them there. And then I had to go OU again. As much as I didn't like it, I was like, fine, I'll go OU. And they won for me. So, see, that's where we're talking about the bias. Don't worry about the bias. Even though you hate the team or whatever, they can still win you some money. So I put them to work for me. So 3-1. Going to the Big East, St. John's. I do like St. John's. They beat up on Providence. They're pretty good. They actually won by 13. That was good. UConn made their appearance, and they won by 25 points. So yeah, they killed Xavier. Villanova, I don't know why I picked Villanova. I thought they'd be okay because those were the games, and the Creighton game, those are teams I didn't really watch too much of. I just went by the numbers, and I thought, okay, these teams should win. And see, here's the thing. Anything can happen in these tournaments. If you didn't watch them, you don't understand it. If you watch the tournaments, you realize like anything can happen on any day. It doesn't matter the numbers. So Villanova and Creighton lost. Oh well, 2-2 on that one. But then we go to the Big 12. Yeah, this was a good one here. So I got I went 4 for 4. I picked Kansas on the money line because I wasn't sure about them and TCU. And actually, I think TCU was winning by not by quite a bit. They were winning. And at the end, Kansas came back and actually won by 5 points. So Arizona, they put a beat down on UCF, on Central Florida. Poor guys. Iowa State, that was they played Texas Tech. And I knew Texas Tech was struggling because they're missing their big man, their top guy. I thought they'd show up a little better. I had 5.5 points. They beat them by 22 points. So I like it. When that happens, you're like, yeah, I won this one, so that's good. And then BYU, of course, showed up. I'm trying to see what the score was on that one. Yeah, there we go. BYU lost to Houston, but they lost by 7. So they kept it 8.5 points. I kind of figured that would happen. Houston's a better team. BYU has maybe the best player. Now they say that. I think he's good. He can score. So one of the top players in college. But I thought Houston would win. But they kept it close. And actually BYU was winning for a while. So when that happens and you pick the underdog, yeah, you feel pretty good about that. So that was, let's see. And then go to the next day. This is yesterday's games, right? These are Friday's games. So had Friday. I liked Virginia to win, even though they were playing. Who were they playing? Did I miss that? Okay, maybe I missed it. But I liked Virginia to win, and they actually won. They played shoot, I can't think of who they played. But whoever they played Miami. Virginia played Miami. I thought they would win because they're the better team. Miami is good, but they're not, and Virginia beat them like by 20 something points. So when that got that score, I was like, whoo, 3.5 points. I got it. Duke, on the other hand, I wasn't sure of just because they struggled with that 1 point win. And they were playing a better Clemson team, but they ended up winning by 20. No, by 12. Ooh, yeah, they barely covered that. They were up by a lot more. They were up by 20 points at one point. They won by 12. I had 11.5. That's as close as you can get to losing and still win. So yeah, that was good. So if you can see that the SEC, they're actually a day behind. So the championship games for the other conferences are today. The SEC's championship game is on Sunday. So they still got a couple of rounds to play. Here's the crazy part here. So Florida did win, but they didn't win by enough. Let's see. So they beat Kentucky. They beat Kentucky by 8 points. So they did win. Good pick, just not by enough points. And here's the one that got me mad about Tennessee. I like Tennessee, right? I used to, during the season, I was like, I'm a Tennessee homer. But on my notes, I actually had written like Vandy was probably going to win. But for some reason, I was like, you know what? I'm going to ride with Tennessee. Yeah, Vandy beat them by 7 again. That's the last team they played, and they lost to them too by 8. So I had Vandy in my notes, put Tennessee. Ole Miss, though, so after they beat Texas, I was like, oh, they'll lose to Georgia. Well, you know what? I said, you know what? I'm going to ride with Ole Miss. They're playing Alabama, a good Alabama team. They were winning the entire game. They actually won by 1 point. So that 11.5 was, I had that with like 10 minutes to go in the game. And then OU did not win, but I did like their spunk. And they lost by 3 to Arkansas, and they actually were winning that game as well. Arkansas came back to beat them. So that 6.5 covered. So 2-2, not too bad there. The Big East, on the other hand, I said, man, and I listened to Turkey Crib. If you ever listen to him, you can check him out on TikTok. But you know, one of his picks of the day was St. John's, and because of their coach, he says Rick Pitino, you know, he's going to have his team ready, and I agree with that. So I took them, and it was actually they won by 10, so they got that. But I think they were winning by 15. They were killing Seton Hall. Seton Hall came back a little bit, but yeah, they took care of business there. And UConn, I thought, UConn, they're playing Georgetown. Georgetown was a shocker going through the games, but you know what? Hey, if you win the game, you get to play the next one. But I thought they're way better than Georgetown, and they were. They were up by 20. They won by 16, so they actually barely covered the 14.5. But yeah, here's the thing about these blowouts: when it gets to be like 20, 25 points. The other team, I will give them credit. They still want to score. They're like, we're going to keep scoring. We're going to try and come back. The team that's winning by 25 points doesn't always keep the pedal down, so that sometimes they let these guys come back. And so sometimes some of these big spreads, you can lose them because let's say they were up by 20, but they're like, yeah, we're kind of cruising now. And if Georgetown could have cut it to 10 points, right, then you lose it. And UConn's still like, we won. But I think some of these coaches, they kind of try to keep that mentality like, hey, keep it going, keep playing. Thank goodness for me because they end up winning by 14.5 points. So, and then in the Big 12, these are some tough games here. So I had Arizona money line. I was really nervous about that one because Iowa State, they've showed like they're good. And so, and I think it was 2.5 points, or I think it was 2.5 points for Arizona. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to pick Arizona to win. I don't know about how much, which could be 1 point, and we've seen that happen multiple times in the tournaments so far. 1 point wins. Sure enough, it comes down to the last play, and Arizona. Iowa State had to hit a 3 at the end to tie it with about 9 seconds left. Arizona hits a shot at the last second to win the game. Great shot. Great game and great win. Woo! We'll take that. And then U of H was playing Kansas. I think actually U of H is one of their last losses was at Kansas. But I thought I've seen them. I saw them play the other day, and I thought they looked really good. And man, they put the clamps down on Kansas. They beat them by 22 points. Kansas scored a total of 47 points. To me, that sounds low. 47 points for an entire game. They scored 25 in the first half, 22 in the second half. U of H had contested every shot. So that was a good win there. They actually won by 20-something points, so I had that one. So here's the picks for today. So let's talk about Virginia and Duke playing. So Virginia scores 81 points a game, and they give up 68. Duke scores 83 and gives up 63. So they're pretty close. Rebounding, they're right with each other. Like they both rebound. I think they average like 35, 36 rebounds a game, which is really good. Sometimes, one team can be more dominant, but this time they're pretty close. 3-pointers, offensively, Virginia has a little bit of an edge, a slight edge, but defensively, Duke has the edge. And so when I think of these, I think defense wins championships. I do think Duke wins today. I just don't know if they win by 8.5 because I think Virginia is going to be a really tough opponent, not just for them, just in general. So I'm going to go Virginia 8.5 points. I don't think it becomes a blowout because I think Virginia's a pretty good team, and but I like them to keep it close, and it doesn't matter. In the end, how much you win by. It just matters if you win. So I think that's what's going to happen today. So like I told you, SEC, their championship isn't until tomorrow. So these are the semifinals. So they got 2 games going on. So I didn't even give you that one, but we'll do this one. So Florida plays Vanderbilt. Florida's 26-6. Vandy is 25-7. Florida's 4 in the nation. Vandy is 22. But Vanderbilt obviously has proved that they should be there, right? They beat some really good teams. Let's see. Vanderbilt scores 87, but they give up 75 points. That's pretty good. Pretty good defense. 60s is elite defense. Florida scores 88 and gives up 71. Just a little better there. Offensively, Vandy may have the advantage in 3-pointers, but defensively, Florida has the advantage. Florida's really good. And then rebounds, I think Florida dominates the boards, like 48 boards a game or something. So something crazy, or maybe it's in the low 40s, but they're really good. I contemplated on this one because it was like, man, it's going to go back and forth. What's going to happen? But I think Florida's too strong. I think they're proving that they're going to make a run. I don't know. I don't know if they're my favorite pick for the championship or to make the Final Four. But I got to give some more thought to that. But they're actually one of the top ones. So I see Florida. I see it being close for a while, and I think at the very end it probably gets a little bit out of hand, and Florida probably wins by 12 points or something like that. So, and then on the other side, you got Ole Miss and Arkansas. Ole Miss is 15-9. They really shouldn't even be there, right? Arkansas is 24-8. Right? They came out. They came back and beat Oklahoma. Let's see. Ole Miss. They score. Here's the crazy part. They score 75 points a game, but they give up 76 points a game. Okay, that's not good, but that explains why they're sub 500. Arkansas scores 90 and gives up 80. Yeah, Arkansas, they're good. On the 3-point, rebound-wise, they're the same. 3-pointers, offensively and defensively, defending 3-pointers, Arkansas is better. Why I'm going +9, I don't have a clue. Other than some teams can just get hot and get on a run. Ole Miss has done that. They beat Texas. They beat Georgia. They beat Alabama. Alabama, right? Alabama yesterday. Yeah. So they were beating Alabama pretty good. I'm gonna go with momentum here. I don't think they win at all, but hopefully they keep it within 9 points. I mean, it could, honestly, it could be a 2-point game or Arkansas wins by 20 points, right? But I'm going to go with Ole Miss one more time. Let's see if they can hold on. I think the championship will end up being Florida and Arkansas, which I think will be a really good game. So that's for that one. The Big East, not the Big Easy. They should be playing in the Big Easy. Is UConn and St. John's. So UConn is 29-4, number 6 in the nation. St. John's is 27-6, 13 in the nation. Obviously, right, St. John's doing pretty good. Let's see. UConn scores 79, gives up 65 points a game. That's elite defense. In college basketball, 65 points is elite defense. St. John's scores 82, gives up 71 points. That's, like average to a little above average defense there. Offensively and defensively, UConn offensively they have a slight edge over St. John's in 3-pointers, but defensively they're one of the top teams in stopping, like defending the 3-pointer. I had money line here. It's 2.5 points is the spread right now. Actually, now it's 3.5 points. I could see that happening, but I think St. John's going to keep it close, and this is why. Last time they played, UConn beat St. John's by almost 40 points. And they held St. John's to 14 points in the second half. There's 20 minutes and a half. They didn't even score 1 point a minute. That's kind of embarrassing there. I think St. John's takes that personal, and I think they're really going to put up a fight today. I still think UConn wins the game, but I think it's going to be close, and we'll see. But UConn, I got UConn winning the Big East right there. And then the last game, this was a tough one for me to pick here. U of H and Arizona play for the Big 12 championship. Let's see. U of H is 28-5. They're number 5 in the nation. And Arizona is 31-2. That's a good record. Number 2 in the nation, just right behind Duke. Let's see. Houston scores 78, and they give up 62 points a game, which is elite defense. Arizona scores 87 and gives up 69 points, which is like above average to almost elite defense there. Defensively, guarding the perimeter, Houston has the edge, but Arizona's pretty good at that as well. Obviously, when you only give up 69 points as well. But offensively, Arizona may have the edge. They say they have it percentage-wise, but if you watch the Houston game against Kansas, they were hitting threes. They were doing pretty good. This one, the money line, I'm sorry, it's 2.5 points. Yeah, it's still 2.5 points, Arizona. I like Houston. I'm actually from Houston. I've always liked the Houston Cougars. When I talk about watching, the first time I watched college basketball was in the 80s. 1983, U of H, Houston Cougars play NC State, lose on the last second shot. That was a bummer for me. Pretty sure I cried that day, but that's besides the point there. Anyway, I like Houston, but I have this feeling that Arizona is too much in the middle, and they're going to win the game. 2.5 is actually, that's probably close. I mean, it could be closer than that, right? It could be 1 point. They may win by half a point. Who knows? But money line, I would go Arizona, but I'm probably going to pick Arizona 2.5 points to win that game. And that will be Saturday's picks. Look at that. Let me tell you why I put it's that easy. You saw some of the first days, I wasn't very good at picking. Then the next days I picked, and those were hitting pretty good. I was hitting on a high percentage. I think there was a day I went 12-4, and then yesterday I went 8-2. But who knows? Today I could go 0-for, right? You'd never know. But that's how I think it's that easy. It's like anyone can pick any day, anytime, because half the people are going to be right, half the people are going to be wrong. So if you're picking and if you're betting, good luck today. If you can like the video, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want to subscribe, I would really appreciate that. And looking forward to doing a show about the NCAA tournament coming up. That's going to be awesome. I cannot wait for that tournament, because there's going to be some really big upsets there. There's be a big chance to make some money. So hope everyone has a great Saturday. Hope you bet big, and I hope you win even bigger. Have a good one.